Just like that. I'll make you into your little groups. Your little groups of 2 and 3.
Better and worse, right?
Exactly. Okay. Cool. So, yeah. There you guys are. Right there. And
Well,
I will fade
I'm
you
facing
guys
away
to
from them.
scene.
We best head off then and find one of Hallis' next ex-friends.
Yes, time is of the essence.
Okay.
Aleph,
Haleth looks
you
over at you.
wish to lead
I
the
mean,
way?
sure. I know they're somewhere on the floor, but I don't know exactly where. But I'm sure if I get close
the
enough,
good thing
I'll
is though,
start to really
yeah,
feel
the closer we get.
something. Haleth sort of walks along the corridor. Gets about, I don't know, 60 or 70 feet ahead of you. He says, "Hey, this is the same way we came, right?"
I mean, there wasn't any other way to.
That's correct. Yes, we were back here.
Okay. So, Haleth, and I'm just going to say for the next, so, I don't know, I'm not going to guesstimate, but that it takes you about another 5 minutes to bring you guys back to that corridor with those two, what's it called? Those two ballista that you guys smashed to pieces. You walk past that crazy tentacle that came out of the ceiling. Takes you about 5 minutes to get about there. And there's that open doorway where you guys beat up those Xanathar punks. It's open. You don't hear any sounds coming from the north about, where any of those guys are. The
For
bugbears.
an officer of the law, he sure likes to vandalize. As he's looking at this graffiti on the ground.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely made his presence known.
It's not the most important thing, I imagine.
Hal says, "I guess we have to retrace our steps all the way back." Sam sort of goes, "I don't recognize this place at all."
Did you recognize the place we were in before?
Not really.
Then you won't recognize for a bit until we get further back.
Okay. Zam and Nerthiost, of course. Unless you want to, you can control Nerthiost, right? Ferros?
Yeah.
Sorry. Draco?
Everybody's Ferros.
Everybody's Ferros. Yep.
Every time. I need an accumulation of all the times you've done that.
You know what? You can do that. Okay, cool. So then all I have to do is control these two. Excellent. We're happy about this. Okay. So Haleth sort of moves his way, Zam sort of getting next to him, to about here. And then he says, "We came from..." And he points to the right. He says, "I think we came from that direction, right? I don't really remember."
No, it's the other way.
Haleth goes around the corner. Zam follows by. Okay. This place is just a maze of twists and turns and undulating back and forths. And the odd thing is that Haleth is he's not even checking for traps. He's just walking. Which is odd, right? Because Elbauthin used to basically spend 90% of the time going slowly, checking for traps along the walls, doing all kinds of stuff like that. Haleth isn't doing any of that shit. Zam is sort of standing behind Haleth, watching him as he goes, his eyes flitting back and forth. But Haleth, he just doesn't care. He just moves forward, unswervingly. It's even worse. This takes you about another 10 or 15 minutes just to walk through these corridors. And it just feels like you're going on forever and ever and ever. Lefts, then rights, then lefts, then rights. And then maybe about here, Hal makes the turn and then says, "Stop. There's something up there."
Do I see anything?
Make a perception check.
7.
Yeah, your sight only goes so far. You don't see anything. Hal says, "I don't see it. I hear something. It sounds weird. It sounds like little sort of jittery sounds." And then he turns to you, Ferros, on top of Zeril. He's like, "Lead the way, hero."
Alright. Don't call me a hero.
Okay. You get about, I don't know, 10 or 15, maybe a little more, like 30 or 40 feet. And then you can make another perception check because you start to see that your vision, you actually see two things. You see sort of shapes in the middle of this room coming up to the left. There are two shapes, and they seem to be low to the ground, meaning that they do not seem to be humanoid shapes. They're about, 3 feet across, 2 feet wide, and they are together in the middle of the ground. They're making these weird sort of chittering noises. Like, that's the first thing that you hear and sort of make out, barely. Off to the north, to your right, you see a set of staircases going down.
Alright. We'll keep going forward.
Okay.
Now I see these things. Do I
Yes. Make a Arcana check. Okay. The 16, you've never seen one of these in person, but at Candlekeep, there were books about these things, and the adventurers' tales about how they absolutely detested them. They're called rust monsters. They are essentially sort of giant bug-like creatures that eat metal. That's what they eat. They're like termites from metal, but they're about 4 feet long and 3 feet wide. And your stealth was pretty much nothing. So they sort of, as you sort of wander into the room, the two of them, like their little sort of carapaces just flutter for a second, and their heads jerk up, and you see that they have like 4 eyes and a mouthful of mandibles. In fact, there's this really great handout that I'm going to show you right now. Boop. And there you go. Obviously, that's not
these things can do.
that's not Ferros, but I mean, as befits the picture, these creatures are chewing on, I don't know, a helmet or armor or whatever it is. They just like tear into it like a knife through butter.
Okay. I turn to Helen. Don't use the greatsword against these guys. I doubt it will work.
Okay, Hal
Just
sort of
punch
like
my
handles
people.
his greatsword and he goes, "Well, then this is
They're rust monsters.
Oh, joy. Let me see if he has. Okay, so he'll like take the greatsword and sheath it and pull out the quarterstaff again. He's like, "Are we gonna do this?"
Yeah, why not?
All right, cool.
They're just random bugs. They'll just attack us and think.
All right. They are aware of you, and you are aware of them. So.
I take my chainmail off and I put it on Zeril.
Okay. Zeril like looks at you for a second. He's like, in your mind, you hear, "What are you doing, sir?"
There's a rust monster out there. I don't want that getting hurt.
He looks at these things. He looks back at you. He goes, "A fine choice, sir." Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Zam looks at these things over your shoulder, Qrevialur, and he's like, "Oh shit,
How tall is this dude?
He just like hops. He hops over your shoulder. Yeah, Half is in the way, so he just like hops over your shoulder. He hops. He's like, I can't. Oh no! Oh shit! The rust monsters have not attacked. They are just watching and waiting. But it seems like Ferros has already rolled initiative, so let's go ahead and do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you put the turn.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Roll initiative. Let's do this, folks.
I mean, I
love it.
You put the turn order.
I
man.
did. I love it, though. I love that you're just like, let's do this shit. Creepy. Let's do it. All right. Everybody, roll initiatives for your respective peoples. All right. Looks like we've got everybody in there. Zam is first. Zam. Let's see what can Zam do. Zam has no weapons, so he's like, he looks at his hands and he just goes, fuck, and he just like, you see him and like hair just sprouts out of his skin, and he turns, his eyes turn pink, and his ears flatten up against the side of his head and grow and enlarge, and his sort of back just completely cracks, and you just see him turn into this weird creature that you saw just like last night, this sort of humanoid rat creature. And he runs past Haleth. Six. And that's where he's going to end his turn. He just runs screaming into the hall like, yeah! And then Haleth.
Hey, he's trying to intimidate them, clearly.
Haleth's like, this guy is so dead. And then he runs into the hall after him. Okay, and he gets ready to protect Sam. Ferros, you're up.
Alright, I will move to here and cast Sanctuary.
On who?
Myself.
Okay, I will give you the Sanctuary icon.
Is this really not concentration?
Boop.
Nope. I've used really nice.
Cool. What does Haleth have? Does
Yep,
Haleth
that'll be
have?
my turn.
What kind of armor does Haleth have? Leather armor. Okay. All right. It is now the Rust Monsters' turn. Let's see what they can do. All right. Okay. Huh. 30 feet of it. Okay. Cool. So the Rust Monster will run over to Zam since he attacked first, and they will bite at this crazy rat creature that just jumped at them. Twice. With a 13, the first one will hit, and then the second one will hit. They both do some damage to our friend Zam. They do 12 piercing damage. Okay, Northiost is up.
Alright, well then he is probably, let's see what he's gonna do. Alright, he's going to shoot it with a confusion ray. The
Okay.
top one.
The top one,
Mm-hmm.
wisdom saving throw.
Yep.
Okay. And he got a 6.
Fun. Now until the end of its next turns, it can't take reaction, and on its turn, it can't move. And
Okay.
it uses its action to make a melee range attack against a randomly determined creature within range.
I love this. So good.
Of Confusion Rain.
Okay, cool. So the top rust monster sort of like, he gets hit by this beam and he's just like, and you just see its like little antennae just start like like moving in a very rapid pattern all over the place. And now it is Qrevialur's turn.
Everyone's gonna move to right next to Ferros.
Okay.
And, which is odd because, so, it's weird to see him in combat without two swords pulled out. But he still hasn't put his lightly glowing sword away. He's still just holding it,
Okay.
despite not swinging it or anything.
Okay.
But he will use it as his casting focus.
Okay.
And doing so, he's gonna like, I don't know what they're called, but people at
A baton.
baton. He's gonna use it like a baton and like make little motions with it, and attempt to viciously mock the other one.
What are you going to say to the rust monster to viciously mock it?
Your poison is weaker than my saliva.
Okay. It's pretty weak. I should give you disadvantage on that one, but I'll give you go ahead and wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Poison.
It is.
He got an 8. I guess these things don't give a shit. All right, and so he gets what? How much damage?
He
You
takes
mean they
4.
give a shit?
Well, yeah, he does. He obviously whatever you said to him affected him deeply.
Alright, so he takes 4 damage and has disadvantage on his next attack roll.
4 damage.
4 damage.
Disadvantage on the next attack roll. Excellent. All right, top of the order. Zam will, now that he is in front, he will try to bite this rust monster, who is... Who should he bite? Yeah, he's definitely going to bite the one who's been viciously mocked, although he doesn't know that he's been viciously mocked. And he bites with a 17 and hits, and does 5 piercing damage. Bites into it, and you just see this like stream of like black goop just like splat Zam in the face, and he's like... Haleth takes out his quarterstaff and hits this creature twice. The one on the top, the confused one. Both hitting and doing... Wow. For real? That's pretty crazy. He's very strong, clearly. The first one, he does 21 damage with the quarterstaff. And the second one, he does 13. So that's 34 damage? Okay, so...
Crit? What?
No, that is just...
21 damage?
This is the way... I mean, I'm pretty sure I got this right here. Let me double check on the...
Isn't quarterstaff like 1d6 plus, or 1d8 plus strength or whatever?
It is...
two-handed.
If it's two-handed, it's 1d8 plus 4 damage, yeah. So how's that
You did
possible?
21.
That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense at all.
I think that might be an attack roll.
Yeah, let me check something out here.
This is the day of ringtones.
Yeah, exactly. I think that makes no sense. Why is it doing 9? Oh, okay.
21.
Yeah, okay, because it's showing the damage as 9 and then 12, which doesn't make any sense. And then the second damage is 5 plus 8. Which doesn't make any sense. So I will just take the first damages here off the quarterstaff, because clearly this is not working out so well. So that's 9 and 5. That's 14 damage on the top one. I like
That
it.
makes more sense.
That's much more sensible.
21 damage.
Yeah,
on
it
the
doesn't make any sense. He didn't crit at all. Ferros, you're up.
Right, well, I have nothing that's not a metal weapon, so. Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll move 0 up 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay. Fuck! Guess I gotta punch him.
Okay. Punch
Whack.
away.
This brings me back.
Eat my feast! Whoopsh. Yeah, with a 20... Wait, that was a strength roll.
Yeah, because I don't have a
Same
punch.
mod.
I assume there's no proficiency added to it, so I just did a strength roll.
No, you have proficiency with your strikes. I'm pretty sure melee attacks, like unarmed attacks,
Like,
have
you have
proficiency.
proficiency with your punches? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Fair enough.
Unarmed
Then that's
strike.
actually a 25 to hit.
Beautiful. You definitely hit. Roll damage.
I don't know what
1
damage you want
plus
per punch.
strength.
Yeah.
So that's 5 damage.
Beautiful. You punch this bug in the face.
Bah!
All
I
right.
guess another punch roll is in store, so 13 to hit.
13 does not hit. So you punch it, and then the first one, and then it just sort of like it dodges out of the way after the second time you try to
I
clock
just
it.
realized that drops my sanctuary. What a great use of that spell.
I gotta say, of all things, That's okay. Did that use up a spell slot?
It did. I'm
Oh.
stupid.
That's okay. We all make mistakes. And now it's the Rust
Sanctuary's
Monster's
weird.
turn. He's gonna turn over since you did the most damage to it.
Oh wait, I had advantage 'cause I'm flanking. Whoa. I was flanking.
Yes,
If
that's
I'm
true.
gonna drop my fucking sanctuary, I want to drop it best.
Okay, so roll it again. Roll your d20.
There you go.
And then you
11.
missed it again. Okay. Now this creature will turn, and he has disadvantage on this attack because of Qrevialur's vicious mockery. So he will attack
Probably
you.
will still.
Are you wearing anything made out of metal?
No.
You sure?
No, I'm not. I took it off.
You took it
I
off.
took it off.
Okay. Just saying.
That's why my AC is fucking 9.
Jesus. Okay. Let's see. 5 feet. You have nothing, no metal objects.
I have metal objects. I have a longsword on me, a sheath. I have a set of javelins. I believe those would be considered metal.
Okay. So, and is the metal object, as in that longsword, is it on you?
Yes, it is sheathed though.
Is it magical?
No.
Okay, cool. So it sees your longsword, and its antennae sort of like wobble for a second. And it sort of jumps on you, and it tries to touch its antenna onto your longsword. You can make a dexterity saving throw to avoid this rust monster's
yes.
touch.
What I'm just so good at.
Hey, you made it! Because the DC was an 11. Nice.
It's a 15.
Okay.
Plus 3.
Fantastic. Yeah, it jumps on your back and like it's
Wait a second. Does it already add my plus 3 to this? I think that's actually just a.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
That's
It's
okay.
actually a 12.
Perfect. 12 is higher than the DC. The DC
It's
is an 11.
automatically adding it. Don't worry, I'll talk about it.
We are happy about this. So yeah, the thing jumps on your back and like it starts scrabbling at you, and then the antenna sort of wobble around, and you're like, get the fuck off! And this thing sort of falls off you, and then gets back to its feet. The other one is confused by Nerthiost's confusion ray, and so it has to make a attack. Remind me of the confusion ray again.
Action. I can put it back in chat for you. That will work.
Yup. Okay, on its turn, it can't move, and it uses its action to make a melee or ranged attack against randomly incremental reach. Okay, great. So I will roll a d8 in the open.
It has to be on a creature, so maybe a d4? Because it apparently can't just attack air. That doesn't seem like an option.
Okay, that works. I'm good with that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it attacks. Oh, shit. In clockwise fashion, it bites the other fucking rust monster.
Yes!
Well done, sir. Yes.
Perfect.
It bites the other rust monster, and it hits him and does 3 piercing damage. So you just see like the rust monster's like the wobbly one is like, and it just bites into the other rust monster and it squeals. But it didn't kill Steeliot, so we're good. Nerthios, it's your turn.
Right.
At the end
So
of its turn, does it get to make a?
No, it loses it. It doesn't get to make a new save. It just loses the confusion.
Oh, so it's not confused anymore. Okay, cool.
Yep.
We're good with that.
But you
But-
can guess what I'm already gonna do.
He's gonna do it again. Okay, wisdom saving throw on top one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
that one.
We're cool with that. You're just gonna keep doing it over and over and over again.
It's gonna
What's
keep
the DC?
fighting The other one.
Ah, it says
13.
it didn't matter. He got a 6. He is again confused. There should be diminishing returns on this thing. That's okay.
Have
Good
you
of
shot
you.
more than 2 rust monsters?
For real.
I mean, it's 2 against 5?
It's fine. They're rust
That
monsters.
would have been worse with the rest of the party. Like.
Qrevialur, you're up.
Alright. So he's gonna go around and flank this top one,
Okay.
and then he is going to take his slow, dim light longsword and attack with it twice. Do either of those hit?
17 hits and 17 hits because you have advantage
What? Oh, I have advantage. Yeah.
from the flanking.
Cool. So that's 18 damage.
Okay, the second attack, the first attack slashes it, and it's like sort of in two pieces, and then the third attack, the second attack just splats this thing into goo, and its little legs go and stop moving.
One down. That's the end of Qrevialur's turn.
Okay. Zam is up next. Zam will attack the rust monster with a bite, since he has no weapons. And he will miss with a crit fail. And the creature just sort of like skitters back after he jumped on Ferros' back, and he's just like he's ready for either one of you. And Haleth now goes, and
Is it a
Haleth.
crit fail if he has advantage?
Why would he have advantage?
Because he's flanking.
Like,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's not a crit fail, but he got an 8.
amazing.
So yeah, the higher of the two was an 8. All right, but Haleth, who sees the way that the water is running here, decides to quarterstaff the shit out of this guy, and he will do it twice. Okay, it's a good thing. Well, the first attack hits and does 6 damage. The second attack does, in fact, crit and does 14 damage, which is more than enough to splat this thing into goo. And there are no more rust monsters.
That worked out well. Zero will come over. I'll grab the chainmail, put the chainmail on it again.
Okay. Zam sort of looks around, and he's still this sort of rat creature. He's like... and his little nose sort of goes up in the air, and he's like... and in a very sort of strange, more guttural voice, he says, I remember this place. Yes.
Special about it?
And then he's sort of just like, in fact, let me change his... oh, this is kind of cool. I can actually change the side. Look at that. I can make him go, instead of this, I can make him look...
Token.
I can make him look like that! Tring.
Ew.
Look at that. We like rollable tokens.
Nice.
Yeah. So Zam sort of just goes... and goes over to the stairs and starts sniffing at the stairs. Yeah, yes, here.
I guess if he knows the way, we best follow him.
Alice says,
Very well.
all right. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Where are we? We are coming up to this room. Okay, cool. So Zam sort of scuttles down the stairs. Haleth clumps after him. And then Zam sort of moves down this hallway to a doorway on the left. The hallway goes on for a while and seems to end in a sort of collapsed tunnel with 2 more doors on the far edges of the hallway, which he does not go towards. Instead, Zam just goes over to this door here. Let me just check something very quickly. Where are we? 14. Right. Okay, cool. There is a... okay, cool. There is a strange mural painted on the outside of this door that Zam stops in front of. And it depicts this very strange creature. It's got tentacles, and it sort of has a conical shape of a head, but it's attached to the ceiling. of a cavern. And it looks like it's sort of coming off the ceiling, and right below it is a dwarf looking up at the ceiling like... And in the hands of this dwarf is this humongous gemstone. Zam says, "It's this way. It's this way." And he actually walks right through the door.
Alright. Whatever. I'll try walk through the door as well.
You can't get through the door.
Fantastic. Alright. I'll get out there and try to open the door.
Okay, it is locked.
Fantastic.
Do we need to open it?
Yeah, go ahead and open it, Qrevialur.
Okay. Qrevialur's gonna go up to the door and, like, right where the knob or handle is,
Okay.
like, a few inches away from that, he's gonna kick.
Okay, make an athletics check.
Okay.
You kick the door and solid. Solid
No,
oak.
no, Qrevialur. Here. Let me show you.
Little punk!
Ferros, explain to me, narrate to me how it is that you show Qrevialur how it's done.
I walk over and I turn the knob really hard.
It just like crumbles in your grasp. You're just like... And the door swings open. Well done.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. In this room, you see Zam, and he's actually at the edge of a table. And he's sort of like licking his claws for a sec. And there is a table in the center of this room, and it's got sort of this weird... I mean, the best you could sort of make out of it is it looks kind of like a map made up of loose stones. Sort of made to arrange almost like, well, like walls and doors. Looks like a gaming table. Like a D&D gaming table.
And wow, as you look on it, there are 5 figurines. One in the shape of an elf with a crossbow.
One's moving by itself.
Regardless, I can see the people south. Can I see me?
They are all sleeping figures, humanoid figures. They're all sleeping.
Hopefully they didn't hear me crush the door open.
They're all asleep.
Alright, I will talk somewhat quietly with Zam. What is this, Zam?
Zam sort of looks over to you and goes, "Shh, my family's sleeping."
Is this your family?
Yeah.
Alright, tell them sorry about the door. Have a good time. I'm gonna walk out.
Okay. As you're about to walk out, you hear a voice come from behind you, and it's definitely not Zam's. The voice says, "Well, if you're going to do something about anything, I would expect that you would pay for the door that you have just smashed in."
One of them was awake.
You want him to get off our backs?
No, please, by all means, you and your compatriots may enter.
Well, I'd rather not intrude.
No,
Alright.
please, by all means. You have nothing to fear here. Zam, these are your friends? Zam talks to the air, it seems, and says, "Yeah, Visual, they helped me come back. That crazy wizard, he turned me into stone, and then they stopped and they turned me back to this, and I'm all right now. Will you let me into your gang now?" And this person, who the Zam rat creature seems to indicate is Rizarol, the voice says, "Well, did you do what it is that I entrusted you to do?" Zam sort of looks sheepishly at himself and says, "Well, no, I mean, I turned to stone, and I couldn't." And Rizarol, this voice from nowhere, says, "Well, then I unfortunately cannot let you into the gang. I am sorry, Zam." And Zam just sort of like, he just slumps to the ground. And just, you hear this awful sort of weeping coming from him. He covers his face with his hands. You, on the other hand, seem much more appropriate to my schemes and plans. Please, my dear new-found friends, please come in. Don't worry about the door.
You mind explaining who you are?
Yes. But I would like to make sure that I understand your intentions before I reveal myself.
Oh, I was planning on going further down, to be honest. I had some other plans I had to finish up in this floor.
Oh, what are those plans?
We have a friend here who wants to kill some of his less fortunate, more killy friends.
Haleth
They
walks
killed
into the room. He says, What is this? What is this trickery nonsense?
Yeah, he's probably hiding somewhere. It's not a big deal.
Haleth, scans around the room. I don't see anything. Oh, no, you will not be able to see me, of course. But, all in due time. You say that this, friend of yours, he wishes to kill people here?
Well, no, I don't know if they're here. I'm talking specifically about how some of his friends killed him.
Oh, well, that
Oh.
explains his somewhat pallid complexion.
So we're just trying to find them and let justice run its course.
So it seems that you would be complicit in the destruction of those who deserve destruction, yes?
I don't know if you call it complicit, but I'm helping.
And the third member of your little troop, the tall dragonborn?
He can speak for himself, Qrevialur.
Qrevialur's just been standing there,
I guess
dead
he doesn't
staring
want to
just
speak.
across the there, just dead staring across the table. And he's just saying, "Don't see anybody to speak to."
Well, I guess it seems that you are not here and you are not part of the others. I might as well reveal myself. And this voice, which has been sort of echoing throughout the room, sort of condenses and comes down to a figure who has been now sort of almost as if he steps out of the shadows itself. And it's a pale, haired, dark-skinned elf who's sort of standing there looking at you with sort of reddish eyes. And he's sort of wearing a dark blue cloak. He says, I may introduce myself, yes? My name is Rizarel. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Ferros.
He walks right past Zam and just sort of walks over and extends his hand.
I'll shake his hand.
Haleth crosses his arms across his chest. He says, please, where are my manners? He turns to the other room and he says, you must excuse my gang of sorts. They are taking a bit of a rest. They need their
No, I can
strength.
understand it. You probably don't need quite as much as them because you're an elf, so it makes sense that they probably have to take a longer.
Yeah. Well, if you would be so kind, I will be more than happy to explain to you what need I have of, the three of you, at least.
I mean, we're kind of just here to help Haleth. I don't know if there's anything, unless there's something we could do on our way.
It's very likely that there are things that you will encounter on your way that will make it much more easily susceptible for you to do the things that I would want you to do. They are for the best of Waterdeep, if you care for such a place.
I don't know if I do.
I see.
I'd rather that place burn.
Well,
I'm not gonna say no. I mean, I'm curious what they are and why we should do them.
I assume you are here in Undermountain for reasons of your own, but most who come down to Undermountain They have their own more greed-fulfilling ways of being here, yes?
Yeah, so some I know. Greed is not really a good reason for me to come down here. I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, it's not obvious from my clothing.
Well, I would assume that information is perhaps more valuable to you than the gold that I would perhaps offer as well.